Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Future Video Reviews, and I'm going to review the second one that they came out with, and it is absolutely amazing. It's called Sons of Steel, and it's the one that they kind of sold me of at a convention and convinced me to kind of go down this rabbit hole, and I'm so glad they did because this alone makes it entirely worth it. This is a movie that is way better than I thought it would be, because after watching The Zombie Army, I was like, okay, these are kind of bad movies. They're like very poor quality because they come from VHS, because they were like shot on video and released in video stores like that. Very low budget, low key kind of stuff that they just can't clean up, and they're not high quality. But this release is amazing. I love this movie so much. I went into this expecting it. I was like, okay, I think this is going to be good. I saw the trailer. I think that this is something I'm going to enjoy. And then it just exceeds all of my expectations on every single level. I absolutely love Sons of Steel, and I'm not even going to wait till the end of the review to tell you guys what I think. You guys need to see this movie. It is available on FutureVid, I think it's like FutureVid.com or FutureVidMovies.com. Something along those lines. And I bet you might be able to find it on some like the bigger platforms as well eventually, because this really deserves like a very wide release. So, unlike all the other movies that they have came out with already and they will probably be coming out with, this one in particular is not like a low budget shot on video kind of affair. This is a movie that was made in Australia, and though it screened in the Cannes Film Festival, it was really just kind of shown in Australia and everywhere but America. This is like its first actual release stateside, and it is amazing. You can watch the trailers for the original release of this, and it's like, you know, it looks like the quality of a movie from 1989. But they totally have cleaned it up. Unlike Zombie Army, which it looked very fuzzy and very bad, this looks amazing. You can see the difference. Everything just pops. And the sound is amazing, which is very important because this is a rock musical. It is kind of like Rocky Horror Picture Show, but more grimy and Australian. So there's a little bit of angle there. I absolutely love it, though. It's better than Rocky Horror Picture Show, which, again, personally, I don't think Rocky Horror Picture Show is an actual good movie, but the whole mystique around it and like seeing a live show is just everything that people can do to go along with it makes it amazing. The whole shebang is better than this movie. But if this movie could have had the same treatment that Rocky Horror Picture Show did, I think it would have been released in America if it somehow was able to get that following and get like a wide release. Because this really is a great movie. So, some backstory on this. Like I said, it came out in 1989. And it features a singer who's also part of a band called Black Alice. This is actually a real band that was from Australia at the time. They broke up in like the early 80s, but the guy who like helped produce them and was like part of their like formation and whatnot, he kind of wanted to do more. So he kind of saw like the death of music was MTV taking over, and they realized that putting out albums probably isn't the way to succeed. You need to go in like the video route. So he really wanted to make a short film. And what he did was make something called Nightmare. I can't actually find this short film anywhere online, and I would say the one bad thing about this release is that it does not have that short film on it. I really wish it did, because this short film, there's like a documentary around here and you see a bunch of parts of it, so you get like the feel of it. But it was like mutant kids in a post-apocalyptic world accidentally stumble to a old museum for cricket, and they see a hologram of Black Alice singing. Then afterwards, they get all this cricket gear, go outside, and then they team up with all the bikers who are going to beat them up, and instead they play a game of cricket. It sounds kind of dumb when I say it like that, but the visuals is what really sells it, and that is what is important for like a music video. This, again, is not a music video. Black Alice wasn't around when it was when this happened, but the singer did come back to do the whole hologram for it. And the director just went around shopping this to all these different places until he found someone who was able to like finance an actual movie. So this is not some low-budget affair. Though it's not a huge budget, it definitely has like more camera angles, setups for scenes that took longer than like 4 seconds, good acting for the most part. And it's just a great experience, and I wish I would have watched this with other people. I think this would go over really well at a party, especially if you're kind of like more metal-inspired friends, because this really is kind of like Rocky Horror, but like a little more of an edge. And I will just go through the basic premise of this, is that in this post-apocalyptic sort of world, there's like a nuclear-free zone in Oceania. And the guy who is the president there, he wants to bring like a nuclear sub in there and just wants to get rid of this whole nuclear free zone. Black Alice, who's both a band and the lead singer, who was, again, the lead singer of the actual band Black Alice from Australia, he leads like this group called the Octagon against the government. And it's a very anti-nuclear war kind of movie, and most of its sentiments and even the songs that Black Alice sings lead back to this ideology, which is really good for the time because this is back in 1989, which is when kind of nuclear disaster was not out of reach for a possibility in the future. And it's really interesting that they take this angle because it is such a serious thing they're tackling in such a funny, off-the-wall kind of way. Like, they don't take themselves completely seriously in this. Like, the opening number, the guy gets on a rocket that turns into like a penis and it shoots up into the air and explodes. Good stuff. We're also narrated by one of the first digital puppets ever to be in cinema, called The Head. And actually, I kind of dig it. It kind of reminds me of like a prototype Max Headroom. And it's, again, it just adds to this off-the-wall charm. Sometimes there's also musical numbers going on, which they're good. Like, it's not like a typical musical. I feel like even if you don't like musicals, you're going to enjoy this. Just because the songs are not like funny, but like they're well written, they're well played, and the visuals on screen look amazing. This guy who directed it, would have been great at making music videos for the time. Because just the kind of stuff on display was just off the wall. It's exactly the kind of stuff you would have been seeing on MTV at the time. Even the lead singer of Black Alice kind of reminds me of like Dee Snider from Twisted Sister. In a way, just kind of like the theatrics behind him and a bit of what he looks like. So from the opening number, you find out that the president wants to have Black Alice killed because, well, he's against getting this nuclear sub in there. Black Alice, on the other hand, is like setting up this whole like ferry thing to help like protest like not having the nuclear sub there. And he like is sent to like this government facility where he is then transported into energy to become a hologram to get rid of him. But he ends up waking up in the future and being released, where he teams up with like a biker medieval Viking looking guy and another chick, which was kind of weird because they're like chasing each other. The Vikings trying to kill the chick, but then they find the hologram, watch like a song, then Black Alice gets out, and now the Viking and the chick are friends. And then they all team up together and become like a clan for like the next like 20 minutes while he finishes up his adventure here. It's all very interesting. I can't really say anything that will help you follow what Sons of Steel is about. And he fights mutants, he fights freaks, which is just like a monster that's in a funny rubber suit. He fights all kinds of people to make it back to the present. Now, once he gets back to the present, he also found out that, oh, he needs to save the ferry because apparently something goes wrong, the ferry crashes into the sub, nuclear holocaust, and that's what brings about like the end of the world. So by going back, he has an hour to pretty much save the day, which involves both a chase from cops and fighting other like metal punk people, and it's just off the wall weird. It has like a Wayne's World style ending to it. I don't really know what I just saw, but I love it. Now this release that I got from Future Video, it came with this great like 30 plus minute documentary where it was really just a director talking over a bunch of scenes in the movie and all these like deleted scenes that didn't exist anymore, they must be lost, and pretty much everything that was happening, all the cool things that happened on set, that I'm not going to just repeat it for you, but I can tell that this guy had such a passion for this that it made me fall in love with this movie more. Because this is a guy who, he had a vision, he executed it, he went through all the hardships to get it done the way he wanted it, and after all these years, it's finally on like a very, very nice looking Blu-ray, and I can't help but think that he's probably very proud of his creation because this movie deserves better than what it got. I really wish it got a release in America because it really is something special. It is pretty much Rocky Horror for the next generation. It just didn't get the chance to become that. hopefully now we can kind of get a chance, because this really is a great release by Future Video. I really hope they go more in this direction. I see that the next movie that's coming out, Revenge of the First Wives, is more like Zombie Army. This, though, is something that is a hidden gem with the whole, like, horror, sci-fi, rock, opera, which I guess isn't a big genre. I don't know what other movies would kind of fall under that, but this really is a great movie in the genre, and I really cannot stress enough that you guys need to seek this out. I am in no way affiliated with Future Video. I am not a spokesperson for them. I get no money from you guys buying these, but buy this. I recommend it. It's really great. I can't say that enough.